I really try to avoid speaking about Palantir on the weekends as I want to grow my channel and I want to grow about different topics that I speak about. I try to limit speaking about Palantir to the week, not because I don't love it. I absolutely adore Palantir. It's my most bullish position. I just want to expand my reach for this channel, and I have a lot of people that are subscribed that want me to talk about things other than Palantir. So I take the time over the weekend because the weekends are really slow and I get to expand. For example, yesterday I made a video about JEPI, which is a 12% dividend paying ETF. If you guys want to check it out, click on that link. And the other day I made a video about HIMS. If you guys want to check that out, click on this link above. But today I must speak about Palantir because this is an urgent warning for all shareholders of Palantir. Tomorrow is Monday. The market will be open. Over the weekend, we got a lot of news about this massive NHS deal. The NHS England deal is to upgrade all of the data and have a federated data system. This federated data system is worth a minimum of £360 million, which is equivalent to around $420 million, and 2 extensions for 12 months worth another £120 million. All in all, we believe that this contract can be worth $1 billion over the course of 10 years. Because as we know, once you go carp, you'll never go dark. Once you start working with Palantir, you keep expanding. This is not because Palantir sucks, and this is not because Palantir has a proverbial gun to your head. This is because Palantir actually works. Palantir backs the highest security, the highest level of not only the United States government, but the United States government's allies. Palantir literally works and protects the data and allows to analyze data at the most securest, highest possible levels throughout the entire world. For God's sakes, Palantir is one of only 3 companies that has IL6, which is Impact Level 6 clearance with the Department of Defense. And there's a group of people that absolutely hate on Palantir. One of these groups of people is called Foxglove, and they put out an article that Palantir is about to be sued. And in this article, they're saying, hey, Palantir, founded by Peter Thiel, friends with Donald Trump, one of the largest supporter of the Republican Party, has a spy company called Palantir, and NHS just ordered hundreds of hospitals to start bringing their data on over to Palantir's system. What is Palantir's system? Palantir Foundry. Now, a lot of people like to shit on Palantir, that Palantir is an absolute meme, that Palantir is an absolute knob, that Palantir doesn't do what Palantir does. But in reality, Palantir is the only company in the world that could do what Palantir could do. And unlike other companies that act as if they can do what Palantir can do, like the companies that all of a sudden woke up and tried to take this contract away from Palantir, Palantir in actuality, in action, in totality, right in front of your eyes, actually does what it states it could do. Other companies, they come up with a plan of PowerPoint and Excel showing you what they can possibly build for your organization to make you that much better. Do you see the difference? Now, these people hating on Palantir don't actually understand whatever they put out actually helps Palantir. It doesn't hinder Palantir, it helps Palantir. Now, a lot of people hate on the Prime Minister of UK, Rishi Sunak. And Rishi Sunak actually publicly went and spoke in front of the NHS and publicly said, hey, Palantir reduces wait times. Palantir Foundry actually works. This is the highest political authority in the entire country.
You know, part of it actually is having more data and technology around management of your backlog in its entirety is clearly an obviously good thing to do. And again, it's what I was saying before. It sounds kind of obvious. Okay, we should use some technology to help us analyze our waiting list and then organize ourselves in the most optimal way. That doesn't actually happen everywhere, right? I mean, and that's part of our job, is to spread that best practice. There's a couple of different systems, you know, Foundry is another one. There are a few different systems that do a really good job of exactly what you're saying. Chelsea and Westminster is another trust which used some IT, which made a 28%, almost a third reduction in their backlog just by organizing. For them, it was cleaning through their list, then organizing their theatre. All of you, the nurses who have to work in theatres, there's like optimizing your theatre list on a day-to-day basis, managing the cancellations, right? That is so important. And again, the technology can really help us do that.
And he vouches for Palantir. The other day, I put out a video. This is the full video if you want to check it out, where one of middle management for NHS, she actually works for a pilot program that uses Palantir. And she specifically says how absolutely amazing Palantir is. She says that one of the problems right now that they have at the NHS is either they have too little data or they have too much data. Too little data is not enough for you to make a good decision, while too much data is too much for you to comb through to make a decision in prompt time. Palantir solves all of this. This is not my words. This is the words of this middle management representative of the NHS, working on the front lines using Palantir Foundry. This is the page of Foxglove. They're the ones that were supposed to have a debate with Palantir UK, but Palantir UK came out of the debate and they said, no, we're not going to have the debate. I'm sure now the reason why they're not having the debate is because Palantir already won the contract. Bids were supposed to go out by the end of February. We're actually supposed to have an answer in the next 1 to 6 months, and now I'm assuming that we're going to be getting an answer sometime in March or April. This is the point of today's video. I'm giving everybody an urgent warning. I don't know if the price of Palantir is going to go up. I don't know if the price of Palantir is going to go down. Nobody knows that. But if you were making a bet that we were going to get this contract and this was going to move us forward, because remember, it all trickles down. If Palantir is good to literally update an entire country's medical system, Palantir is most certainly good for your personal private company. Not to mention, United Kingdoms is freaking huge. England is freaking huge. It is a world power. If they can do good by them, a lot of other countries will also be yearning for Palantir products, for Palantir software. And Palantir will keep expanding its footprint. Remember, they started with UK for a £1 contract where they were helping distribute PPP, vaccines, so on and so forth. That £1 contract in totality now is a $100 million contract. With this, like I said, this is going to be over a $1 billion in revenue for Palantir. This is an article that came out 2 days ago. Sharing this NHS data with Palantir raises serious concerns about the security of masses of sensitive personal data. Pseudonymization, I can't even pronounce that word, these concerns. Does not allay these concerns. The government must seek explicit approval from Parliament before proceeding. These people care more about hating on Palantir for ulterior motives, in my personal opinion, than they do about the life and safety about the United Kingdom citizens. If you click on the article, this is the main thing I want you to read. There's a paywall, but I was able to do a screenshot. NHS tells hospitals to share medical records with US spy company. NHS bosses have ordered hundreds of hospitals to share people's private, blah, 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 medical records, so on and so forth. Right now, there might be, just might be, a perfect storm for Palantir. As Credit Suisse just gets bailed out, I'll do a different video on that. As the fallout from SVB Bank is not as bad as it could have been, as Signature Bank, rumored to be taken over by Bank of America right now, and the entire collapse of the banking system does not seem like it's happening, what is happening is the Federal Reserve just added $300 billion onto their asset sheets. If you want to watch that full video, click on the link above. And that means that there is going to be a form of quantitative easing instead of quantitative tapering. What does that mean? There is more money in the economy. It's not exactly how it happened during COVID. However, this is, make no mistake about it, more money coming into the economy. And possibly they have $1.7 trillion in reserves that they can dump more into the economy. The Federal Reserve is going to meet on Monday. Probably they're going to be raising by 25 basis points. The market, if you look at 2-year treasuries, is taken into account that the actual federal funds rate within the next 2 years is going to go down by 1%. Eventually, they should be lowering interest rates because by raising interest rates, they are completely demolishing our economy. I'm not arguing right or wrong, but as they're doing that, tech sector, volatile stocks, exactly like Palantir, in theory, that doesn't mean that it will happen, but in theory, should prosper. The NASDAQ should prosper. The NASDAQ goes down more during all of this economic turmoil, while the SPY doesn't go down as much. However, when there is quantitative easing, the NASDAQ should make a lot more gains than the SPY. SPY is kind of like even Steven, right? But NASDAQ is super, super volatile. And Palantir is going to trade with the rest of NASDAQ, but in my personal opinion, through a beta, which means it should trade even higher going up and trade lower going down. The point is, the market is setting up for this crazy like bull run in this bear cycle. And that bull run, I don't know how long it lasts, and anything can change daily or even by the hour with what the fuck is going on in our economy. However, if everything goes as per plan, which last week it did, and we're about to get more CPI, more PPI, and if those CPI and PPI data comes in cooler than expected or even, and this is going to open up the door for the Fed to be even less aggressive in the next FOMC meeting after this Wednesday. At the same time, if it's announced that Palantir is going to get this massive NHS contract, on top of all the freaking craziness and all the absolute hate and all of the freaking trolling on Palantir, and they were still able to get this, that means that there will be no more bumps in the road for Palantir when they're going after these massive contracts. No more of this, hey, we hate Palantir, forget about what they can do. It's going to be, hey, Palantir, despite everyone hating on us, is going to get a bunch of contracts. I believe right now might be a perfect opportunity to buy Palantir shares. I'm not telling you to buy, I'm just giving you guys my personal opinion. Now, I already have a shit ton of Palantir shares. I was able to buy like an idiot closer to 20. I did DCA down. I was able to buy as cheap as 6s, if I'm not mistaken, 7s, 8s, so on and so forth. So I was able to bring my average down. Personally, I already have a shit ton of shares. My son owns the shares. When my daughter is born, I'm going to buy her some Palantir shares as well. But I probably will be adding shares to Palantir on Monday. I'm not sure if I'm going to play an options play or I'm going to buy shares outright. Maybe I'm going to do an options play for the next year and see what's going to happen. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this type of information. Let me know in the comments down below if you think we're finally going to get this contract or not. Let me know what you think the price of Palantir is going to do when it's announced that we are going to get this project, God willing. And most importantly, make sure, because it's the weekend, to keep it clean in between, because hygiene is very, very important. Off to the next one. Bye-bye.